People, listen. Happy Tuesday. Welcome in the building. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm sitting here. I'm like, what is that on my shoulder? But it's nothing. I'm sorry. I fixed my clothes before I came on, right? But anyway, guys, happy Tuesday. Welcome in the building. It's trending topics and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called Unbelievable. So we got this. Let me back up and tell the story this way. There are some content creators who will do whatever to get a check. And see, and I'm not the only one, so I'm not trying to say, oh, like I'm the, whatever. But that's why when my trending topics is based off a story that has hit the news in some way, shape, or form. Because I don't want to be up here making up stuff and then perhaps getting sued on the back end. No. You gonna sue ABC News, CBS, or whomever, because the diva ain't just pulling these stories, out of the woodworks. So there's this tarot card reader. She had a TikTok channel, and them unfortunate unalivings at the college. And I want to say that young man, I think he's on trial now, and I think he might have pled guilty. I really don't know. But she was 10 toes down because she read her cards, and her cards told her it was this professor that killed those students. And she stuck to that story to the bitter end, even once the cops arrested someone else. She got cease and desist. Listen, if you send the diva a cease and desist, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to cease and desist. It ain't that serious for me. It's a story so we can talk about things. I ain't here to tear nobody down. I don't know nobody business for a fact verbatim. If I got a story and you telling me to cease and desist, it's a wrap. I'm done. She got cease and desist and she still carried on. The fool got sued. The young lady lawyers just wanted $1 million. The jury gave her $10 million. And this TikToker was her own lawyer. They say when you got a fool for a client when you representing yourself. I don't understand, people, but this overnight success with these different social media platforms have people out there being reckless, and they need one viral video after another, because once they get that first check from that viral video, they get hooked and they want to continue to make that money, and they will do whatever, however, whenever to continue to make that money. You think a cease and desist is a joke? You really that invested in a story that don't have nothing to do with you, that you want to continue to do it? Now you owe $10 million? You got to be dumb, stupid, or both, but we're going to talk about it. Then we're going to talk about, I avoided this story for a couple of days because it's heart-wrenching. 3 teen boys violated a 12-year-old girl. And I said to myself, what were they seeing in their homes that collectively, the 3 of them together, thought it was okay to violate a 12-year-old? Holding her down, putting rocks in her mouth so she wouldn't scream. But I said to myself, I could imagine what they saw. Because one of the aunts of one of the boys want to say that the 12-year-old was not a virgin. She claimed the 12-year-old girl is only claiming R because her mother told her to. And I said to myself, Well, I see why this kid got it twisted, because Auntie is really blaming this little girl. She's more concerned as to why somebody reported something versus why will her nephew hold down a girl while somebody else is violating them. It just don't make any sense. But why am I not that shocked? We had a whole mayor. I just did this story yesterday. A whole mayor who threw a party and thought it was okay to sleep with her son's friend in front of other people. So am I shocked that 3 boys are in the street arguing a little girl that's only 12? People are watching all kinds of crazy stuff on their TVs in front of their kids. People are doing all kind of stuff in front of their kids. People are allowing all kind of stuff to happen to their kids. So now you got 3 teenage boys that are being charged as adults that are most likely going to spend a whole lot of years behind bars. We're going to talk about it. In the last one, I've been seeing this story. I don't know if y'all heard of this story. This is a older gentleman that was working at a restaurant, and he kind of came up with this recipe where he would cook the barbecue meat, and literally the meat was so tender it will fall off the bone. Listen, this man went viral on social media platforms, TikTok, I want to say Instagram. He was known everywhere, but he was working for someone else. That restaurant tried to trademark the term that the worker made popular. I guess I'll say that. Right? And it's called tendernism. And they called him Unc. And he was a big deal. And you know that food influencer that goes to restaurants, Keith, his last name is slipping my mind right now. He went to the restaurant where this man worked. He wanted to leave him a $4,000 tip. The restaurant owner blocked that. This thing is a mess. But my focus of this story is that your intellectual property, you have to be careful about. So the actual restaurant owner and this Kenneth Harris never applied for the trademark of this name. A lawyer did. Keith Lee. Thank you, Precious. And now the lawyer, and Kenneth Harris is very lucky, he is giving the trademark to Kenneth. Now listen, way before even now, I prepared myself with this channel for the future. I just got to put it up there because I don't know how to do it. I got to figure out how to do it. But Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva is trademark. You don't trademark it once you popular and then maybe somebody else did it, or you can't trademark it, or so forth and so on. Kind of what Giselle Bryant and Robin Wood Dixon is going through right now. You started your whole show Reasonably Shady, and now you in a courtroom with Eminem over the name of your product. Don't be stupid. You know, everybody want to go around and they want to talk about their 99 degrees and what college they went to, and they graduated top of the class, and they want to use all these big words. You want to open a business and then you stupid. No. Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva is trademarked. And so they could have spent a couple of thousand to trademark Reasonably Shady, but now they spending probably millions in court fighting Eminem. You got to make it make sense. I got to speak to my brothers and sisters out here for 2.2 seconds. When are we going to rise up and wake up? We still doing stupid stuff. But listen, people, y'all know what time it is. It's time for me to bring the people on in the building. So I need a what in the chat. I need a choo-choo. Hold aboard, everybody. It is Tuesday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title's called Unbelievable. We got the TikToker because she didn't want to cease and desist. Now she owed $10 million. I mean, come on. Now, I like Tasha K, so this ain't got nothing to do with whether I like you or not. But Tasha K, because she didn't want to cease and desist, Cardi B is still on her neck. And she owed Cardi B about $4 million. You got to tell me what story in this world is worth $4 million or $10 million. Well, let the diva tell you that. I say none. I'm good. You don't want me to talk about it no more? I'm good. We got the teen crime and we got this tenderism by Kenneth Harris. You know, he lucky that this story ended up well. Let me bring the people on in. Hey, Julius. Hey, in my opinion.
Hey, y'all. Hit the like button for the diva.
Oops. Hey, 48.
Hey, diva.
Katrina. Hey, Savannah.
Hey,
all
diva.
right. Hey, listen. Let's go ahead and get into these stories. I'm going to do this ridiculous, stupid tarot card reader first. She's a dummy. And now she owes $10 million. And I guess her cards didn't tell her she was going down the wrong road. Stupid. Hold on one second. Okay. Oh, let me let Wayne in the building. Hold on. Did you go in? There you go. All right. So as the debt, TikTok tarot reader forced to hand over $10 million to a professor in shock Idaho murders case she should have seen coming. So that's a picture of the TikToker. That's the guy that took those young college students' lives. So a TikTok tarot reader has been ordered to pay a stunning $10 million after a professor, she said, was falsely branded a killer online to the Idaho student murder case. Jurors returned to Master's son after a short deliberation, handing down a verdict that far exceeded the professor's lawyers asked for. This is the young lady, just foolery. Her name is Ashley. She's from Texas. And she reported repeated accusations on social media, claiming that the professor was the one that took these students' knife and not Brian. There's the students. So in Boise, Idaho, a jury awarded University of Idaho professor Rebecca 40 $10 million on Friday in a federal damages trial. The defendant, Ashley, is a Texas woman who posted repeated accusations on social media, claiming that Rebecca was responsible for the Masco murders. The case was all about the money because the judge had already ruled the statements were defamatory. The lawsuit stems from the November 2022 killings of 4 University Idaho students in Moscow, Idaho, a case that drew global attention. The man convicted in the case, Brian Koberger, was a criminology PhD student at Washington State University at the time and later pleaded guilty on July 2nd, 2025, before being sentenced to 4 life terms without parole. Jurors deliberated just under 2 hours before agreeing on the $10 million figure. Court reporting said that 7.5 of the award was punitive damages, with the rest compulsory damages. Rebecca told the court she suffered severe anxiety, PTSD, and intense nerve pain throughout her body after her name was pushed online as a suspect, the Idaho Statesman reported. There was a moment where it felt like I lost ownership of my face and my name, and it was no longer stitched to my body, she testified. It was utterly terrifying. Ashley began posting videos about 2 weeks into the murder investigation in November 2022, claiming tarot card readings pointed to the professor. The accusations continued for years, with reporting saying that Ashley ultimately made 112 videos, including posts as late as August 2025. Rebecca said that the fallout made it difficult to do her job as chair of the University of Idaho's history department and caused irreversible reputational damage. The defamation suit was filed in December 2022, and the court later narrowed the fight to damages. Ashley represented herself at trial and took the stand as her only witness, describing her spiritual journey according to reports. She told jurors she believed what she said in her videos was true and argued tarot card readings are opinion at best. So the full details of Brian's sentence: on July 2025, Judge Stephen Hippler sentenced Brian to the following. Court 1, burglary 10 years, fixed 0 years, and determinate $50,000 fine. I said court count 1. Count 2, first degree murder of Madison Mogan, fixed term of life in prison without the possibility of the parole, $50,000 fine, and civil penalty of $5,000 payable to the family of the victim. Count 3, first degree murder of Kaylee Goncaves, fixed term of life in prison without the possibility of parole, $50,000 fine, and civil penalty of $5,000 payable to the family of the victim. I don't know how anybody is going to get this money, and he's locked up. Count 4, first degree murder of Zana, fixed term, a life sentence without parole, and again, it's the $50,000 and the $5,000. Count 5, first degree murder of Ethan Chapman, fixed term of life in prison without the possibility of parole, and the same fine. The sentences will run consecutively to one another. It was my understanding, this is what the TikToker is saying, that I do not have to hold facts or documents to exercise speech, she said. Rebecca's attorney pointed that Ashley kept posting even after cease and desist letters and after police publicly said they did not suspect her, according to reporting. In closing arguments, Rebecca's lawyers asked for $1 million in compulsory damages and left punitive damages up to the jury. The $10 million total outpaced some other recent civil awards in Idaho, including defamation cases highlighted in local coverage. In a statement after the verdict, Rebecca said the decision sends the clear message that false statements online have consequences in the real world for real people and are unacceptable in our community. The unalivings of the 4 students on November 13, 2022 was the darkest chapter in our university's history, she added. Today's decision shows that respect and care should always be granted to victims during these tragedies. I'm not going to read all of that. That was about, the unaliving of those students. This TikToker is a straight fool. Julius, your thoughts?
I remember that case so well.
Mm-hmm.
It was a case that he tried hard to hide, but there was no hiding. Now on to this heifer. She makes me feel dismayed. I do my own tarot cards and my own, but as a part of having spiritual understanding, enlightenment, seeking guidance. That's what you're supposed to use them for, and you have to have the energy alignment to do it. You're not supposed to use them as a jury. None of that. Um, and it seems like she didn't ask for godly guidance when she did them, and it shows her picture in the article. She looks like a straight idiotic loon, and I'll say it. If you paid attention to that case, if you paid attention to the legal documents from the very first night when they was at that food truck stand, Brian Kohlberger's face was plastered everywhere. Everywhere. I'm also a follower of the law nerd communities here on this platform. And the law analysis was broken down. That person, I don't know what kind of spiritual journey she says she on. She's a loon out just to make a quick buck. Because there's people who do tarot, but they have regular jobs at the same time, and she not one.
Thank you. In my opinion, your thoughts?
So this is one of those bad side to people being on social media.
Mm-hmm.
We tend to take something and we go to the extreme.
Mm.
And when people try to pull you back before they do legal action, they send you these notices say, "Hey, stop." People just think that that's paper, that's trash. I ain't gotta listen to this. I'm gonna do it because it's the hottest story. So I'm gonna be on the case. And this is when you end up in a case like Tasha K because you didn't listen. Sometimes people say, "Well, I ain't get that sign, that God was trying to tell me not to go down this road." Well, that paper that said this is a cease and desist was your life. It was your chance to stop then. But this dummy don't know no better. So everybody else that wants to be on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, whatever channel you want to be on, Bluebird, whatever it is, take into consideration that these are real people lives, and you can't just be reckless on the internet. The law won't let you just be reckless. Be mindful that you're playing with somebody else's life, and these cases are somebody else's situations. We can have our opinions, but we have to do it respectfully.
I agree. Thank you. In my opinion, Savannah, your thoughts?
After being warned or reprimanded to cease and stop putting this woman's life in danger, because that's exactly what this so-called tarot reader was doing. That case was a huge case. You had 4 young adults who lost their lives in a heinous, horrible, tragic way, and that community was shaken, and this person took it as an opportunity for monetary gain. So I have no sympathy for her whatsoever. I think 10 million plus some jail time, because once you put something out in the universe, especially on social media, whether it's words or a picture or a video, it's out there forever. It is out there forever. You have changed the trajectory of this woman's life, her safety, her ability to even be employed, to be accused of something so evil. It was just absolutely evil. And so I don't understand how to me it's these young people, because I get those tarot card readings in my messages on TikToks, and I have yet to read one that matches with what's really going on in my life. And it seems like it's a script that they all have, and they send them out, and it's a constant thing. You can't block them. So I think this young lady picked the wrong hustle, and she is going to have to pay. And I have no sympathy for her, because you were warned to leave this woman alone. You're going down the wrong road. And she continued to poke, because it was in all the social media realms, especially when that trial was going on. And these families' lives, these families are forever broken. And now you brought another innocent victim into this who had absolutely nothing to do with. I don't feel sorry for her. 10 million is soft. I think that's a light sentence. I think she should have got some jail time for playing with people and not learning her lesson.
Yeah. And then you did it all the way up until August of last year, and you was getting sued from 2022. She's psychotic. Katrina, your thoughts?
This is just crazy. You have some real people out there that are blessed, to have that foresight or seeing things before time. But then you got these scammers out here that make you think like, this person is lying. Ain't no way this person know, because the people was telling her to stop, and she kept doing it. And your cards didn't tell you that you was going down the wrong road, girl. No, you did it for money. Like I said, you have a lot of these fake ones out here. And you're right, Savannah, they stay coming into your thing. They all have the same strip. We're trying to help you. Send the money. We just asked for this small donation. Like, we can't help you without it. Then, first of all, I ain't asked you to help me in the first place. And I dang sure don't need you telling me my future, because I really don't even want to know it, unless it got something to do with what's going on at a certain point in my life. And there's just certain people that you can believe in, and they can tell you the right things. But then you got these scammers out here like this. So she's on TikTok trying to make money off of these people paying, lying on this woman. And the lady told you to stop and you didn't stop. Well, let's see what her cards say. Well, you have to pay this $10 million, or you going to jail. More than likely, you should be doing both. Because your card should have told you that you weren't finna win this battle. And you kept on. It's just ridiculous and sick. And so, yeah, she deserves everything that she's got coming to her. That's all I got.
Mm-hmm. 48, your thoughts?
Hey Diva panel chat. I totally agree with what Katrina said. I'm surprised that her cards didn't like tell her that this was a bad road to go down. I don't feel bad for her to prey on these people's family at the time of loss that they were going through. Is disgusting, and it's a level. It's I'm keeping it respectful, Diva. It's really disgusting to me when people take advantage of people like this. These were young people in school pursuing their dreams. She has parents. It's like people sometimes don't put themselves in other people's shoes before they like do things, and it's irritating and it's aggravating. And I hope that she does learn her lesson, and I hope it's others online that take heed to this. Like, watch what you say and stop playing around with this stuff that you really don't know about, because you opening up stuff and bringing things to you that you ain't ready for. I know she don't have no $10 million to pay this lady. TikTok won't pay her like that. She don't have millions of followers. Like, this is going to set her back, so let this be a lesson, because time is changing. So let this be a lesson to everyone out there. Like, in my opinion, said, watch what you say and always keep it respectful.
That part. Thank you, 48. Wayne, your thoughts?
In my opinion, this tarot card stuff is BS. It's entertainment at most. And like 48 was saying, this woman ain't got that kind of money. But this was a statement to be made, because there are people on TikTok that make a whole lot of money. They may not have tens of millions, but if they fall into a situation like this, whatever they do make or do have, that will be a lot of money to them. They won't have it. This woman needs to serve some kind of community service, because she ain't got that kind of money. So she doesn't have that kind of money. Where's her punishment? You can't get blood from a turnip. But she doesn't need to be walking around and not being held accountable for this woman's life she messed up. You know, that's not there forever. Oh, you're the one that they're accused of, you know. But because she didn't get any time or anything like that, she gets to walk away and say, I ain't got it. Remember Tasha K said, I ain't got it.
She says she ain't got it, but guess what? She won a quarterly payment plan.
Right.
And so she's paying that money. And not only that I ain't got it, Cardi B is staying on her neck. Because Cardi B recently said she wants the court to force Tasha K to come in and do a whole forensic thing on her finances.
Well, she's gonna have a long time paying on that 10 million.
Well, you know what though? She's going and she made, because these courts aren't playing now. Do you remember the story we did where the young lady, she slept with this girl's husband, and the woman sued over alienation of affection, and she won that lawsuit, and that woman said, well, too bad I ain't got it. Yeah, well, honey, they making that chick sell her house. You can't play. You want to play stupid games today in 2026? You gonna get the stupid prize.
You know the psychic Sylvia Brown that used to be on Montel?
Yeah, it was a whole lie. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, remember those girls that they found up in Ohio that had been missing for like 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the mother of one of the girls was on the Montel Williams show, and Sylvia Brown told her daughter was not alive.
No, I remember that. I used to watch Montel Williams all the time.
And that woman ended up passing away at a young age, and some people say it was like from a broken heart. Telling lies to people. This what happened.
Yeah. You know, this first of all, she got a cease and desist. Second of all, they actually arrested somebody who they said did it. But see, you know what, to me though too, these social media platforms should have more ownership in this. If I was the woman and she really wanted her money, she should have sued TikTok. Because you allowed a content creator to be on your platform after this woman got a cease and desist, after they arrested somebody else, to keep putting out stories that I was the one who did this. I would sue TikTok if she want to see her check a little sooner, because it's not right. And I think these platforms, they should have some responsibility, just like they have, you know, they're saying that a lot of these kids are taking their own lives because of the algorithm of some of these platforms. I think I read a story the other day where the mother said ChatGPT told her kid how to take their own life. Like, there should be some level of responsibility of these platforms that these people can be on 24/7, and that you are getting incentive for the content, and you're paying these creators, and they want to do anything to go viral. And it's not right if you're going to go viral by destroying somebody else with lies. Savannah, you want to say something before I move to the next story?
Yes, ma'am. And in regards to your statement, all of these platforms are protected by Section 230, which is, it came in effect in the 1990s, where it was a Communications Decency Act, meaning these platforms are not liable for content that is posted by their users. And that's why Silicon Valley has the type of money and power that they do. And people like Elon Musk and Zuckerberg hide behind Section 230, and anything and everything goes, especially on Twitter. But they have this liability shield where they have full legal protection from lawsuits and any type of criminal charges, whether it's federal or, as long as it's not.
No, that is being broken, Savannah, because Zuckerberg he's in court now. He's paying big time. And he actually paid out money for some things. He paid out money for knowing that algorithm and that they were targeting children on purpose. And now they have to change the algorithm and they have to change the rules. If as long as a person is not lying, you can't help if somebody lies. But if they have it on there with child guards, they are now forcing where they will ping the parent's phone where the thing is locked down. So that is not true. They are now breaking all of that, and these social media platforms are being responsible. ChatGPT is getting sued. Zuckerberg is currently in court because of that algorithm and how they targeted children, and they kept pumping and pumping and pumping the same material, making these kids depressed and wanting to take their own lives. Yes, thank you, Special K, Meta. Yes, it's 100%. They're coming after these social media platforms, and that woman should sue TikTok. And like I told y'all, I am not a person that just be like, sue. But if they keep allowing and they keep paying for lies, this gives these people the incentive to keep lying. This woman got a cease and desist and got sued in 2022. And in 2025, she's still posting about this woman. And this man was already charged and pled guilty and got his sentence. Like, no, they need to take, if they take $2,000 of her money every single time, if she filed taxes and she's supposed to get a refund, that refund needs to go to that professor. No, hit her in the pockets where it hurts. She should have shut her mouth and not been up there telling lies. And if y'all notice something, I really refrain. It may slip out every now and then. Don't hear me calling the people names. We get to the story, we stick to the story, and we talk about the facts at hand. Don't be saying stuff about people because they are human beings too. Let me roll into this next story with this teen crime. This is absolutely deplorable and disgusting. Let me share your screen so we can get into this. Did I kick out of? I think it's here. Okay.
Alert, a 12-year-old girl allegedly raped by 3 teenagers who are all being charged as adults. Local 10's Magda Louisa is live in Miami with distressing details. Magda.
Janice, this alleged crime happened in June, but it wasn't until this week a grand jury said these minors need to be charged as adults. This is why we are showing you their faces. Now, the details in this alleged crime are very disturbing. We want to warn you. 2 middle school age boys and a 15-year-old boy are facing serious charges as adults in connection to a rape case involving a 12-year-old girl.
So you're 12 years old? You're 13 years old?
Police say the co-defendants, Nelson Nunez, Josiah Jones, and Xavier Tyson, all played a part in the crime that took place in an Overtown community garden in June.
You were indicted by a grand jury and transferred to from juvenile court to adult court. That's why you are here.
Police reports say the victim was leaving her friend's house when 13-year-old Nelson Nunez grabbed her, forced her on a couch inside the Greenhaven community garden, and raped her, while 12-year-old Josiah Jones and Xavier Tyson, who was 14 at the time, restrained her. Police say Jones put rocks in her mouth to stop her from screaming. The victim says it went on for about 30 minutes, and the boys stopped when they heard her father calling her name. We've learned from the founders of the community garden Greenhaven Project, telling Local 10 the situation has been very saddening. They say the garden is closed off to the public outside of normal operating hours, and on that day, a construction company cut the side gate, which allowed for anyone to enter the garden. The organization said it extended support to the victim, adding, "We will always be here to support in the best way possible, and that our extension of love and resources will always be available to the victim and her family, which we very much cared for." Both the 12 and 13-year-old are at West the West Detention Center, both of them being held there without bond. As far as Xavier Taylor, the 15-year-old, we have not seen that he has seen a judge just yet, but when he does, we'll update you on what happens there. And we have also reached out to everyone involved in this case, their representatives, and that includes the victim in this case, and we have not heard back from anyone just yet. We're live in Miami. I'm Magdala Lucen, Local 10 News.
Super, super sad. And I
Three
don't
young
know,
boys
I
accused
don't
in
know,
connection.
hold on 1 second. I don't know which aunt it was, but one of the aunts did speak out, and that aunt was a whole hot stinking mess, pretty much blaming the young girl and saying, horrific things about the young lady. Let me share a screen so we can just give you a little bit more information. So babyface boys charged in the R of a 12-year-old after stuffing rocks in her mouth, the cops say. So 3 babyface boys are accused in the R of a 12-year-old girl in Miami, pinning her to the ground and stuffing rocks in her mouth so no one could hear her scream, authorities said. The suspects, Nelson Nunez, 13, Josiah Jones, 12, and Xavier Tyson, 15, allegedly attacked the young girl June 18th in a community garden near where they all live. Investigators allege Nunez tore off the victim's pants and arced her as the other 2 boys held her down in a sickening 30-minute ordeal. One of the boys shoved rocks into the girl's mouth to stop her from crying out, authorities said. The suspects fled after the girl's father started calling out her name when she was eventually able to scream out, according to the cops. Another boy who had not been identified allegedly witnessed the heinous crime. The allegations were only made public after the teens were charged as adults last week. Nunez and Jones both pleaded not guilty to a string of charges, including aggravated battery on a minor, forced imprisonment, and kidnapping during a brief court hearing on Monday. It was unclear whether a similar court hearing was already held for Tyson, who has been charged with battery, forced imprisonment, and lewd and lascivious conduct with a child. The girl's mother says she wanted the harshest possible punishment for the alleged preps. I don't care if they get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, 100 years. I'm going to always feel like it's not enough, she said. Super, super sad. Julius, your thoughts?
I'm going to remain consistent. Lock them up. Have them get street justice. I don't care if these are kids. I don't care. These are demons. They held her. They pinned her. Pinned. And they don't need to see the light of day again.
Thank you. In my opinion, your thoughts?
This is really sad because this is happening way too often. This is like the 3rd one I've seen of kids doing this. And I'm wondering what is going on in your household that you know what to do to some little girl. How are you learning this? What videos or what they seeing that's letting them know that this is okay to do to somebody? Shoving rocks in somebody's mouth, that rock could have went down her throat, cut off her airway, and this baby would have been gone. And the aunt was so stupid, talking about some 2 of her nephews. And then you blame her and say, well, she wasn't a virgin in the first place. Man, we didn't say she was a virgin. We said they held her down and assaulted her and put rocks in her mouth. You sound stupid as all get out. Now, let me tell you something. It don't take nobody with a PhD a GED, okay, can figure it out that this is not right. You sitting up here, you trying to make the victim feel like she's not a victim. How would you feel if somebody did that to one of your children? This is horrific. It's even worse that they're young. Because imagine what they're going to be when they older. If they doing this now, imagine what they're going to be doing when they 19 and 20. I really feel like this is learned behavior. Around somebody way too long, they have been assaulting women and they seen it going on. This is some form of learned behavior. It's no book out there, no video out there to tell you how to assault somebody. And all these boys are guilty because they knew to sit there and hold her down, make sure something was in her mouth so she couldn't scream. I don't like none of this. I really don't. I don't like that our kids are growing up so fast that we have to be mindful that our kids can't even go out and play with other kids no more.
Thank you, in my opinion. Savannah, your thoughts?
I'm in complete agreement with, in my opinion. I was thinking the same thing. Is this something they learn on video games? Or because for 3 boys to have that same mentality, to hold a girl down and to shove something in her mouth for over 30 minutes, I can't even imagine the trauma that this young lady is going through, will be facing. This is more than therapy she will need. And I really hope that she has a village of support and love around her. But having someone in the community blame her and immediately say that she's fast, or I haven't seen the aunt's response online, so I don't know. But for her to insinuate in any type of way that this was any fault of the young girls, as a woman, you should be ashamed of yourself. Ashamed. And I hope that you don't have daughters who ever will go through something as horrific as this little girl went through. I don't know if she thought they were her friends or if they were close family. I'm not sure, but she trusted them enough to go to wherever they were going to.
No, they all lived
And
in
they
the
only
same neighborhood. They all lived in the same neighborhood, and she was leaving a friend house. So I don't know if she kind of ran into them as she was leaving their house.
So she was leaving a friend's house and she ran into them. So did they force her into this location? Because that's another charge that they did.
Yeah, well, that's why they added kidnapping.
They held her down and assaulted her for 30 minutes.
Okay, but they did kidnap her then. This has to be some twisted video game stuff. And now are they being tried as adults?
You know what though? They are being tried as adults. To me, this is not a video game. The thing is, like you said, the fact that all 3 of these kids were in agreement, so to speak, like this was okay and they was doing this to this girl is problematic. But I'm feeling like all of them come from some problematic backgrounds to be in sync like that and be okay with doing this to this girl. It's one thing if one kid was about to do it, right? But y'all 2 decided to hold her down, put rocks in her mouth so that he can do it. This is sick beyond belief.
I completely agree. I have to read up more on the story, Diva. So because I'm not even familiar with what community they come from. So I just hope that she has a community of love and support around her, because she's going to need more than just counseling to ever have. I can imagine the night terrors that she must have. This is just sad. And these are all children, not even teenagers. They're still kids.
The other problem I have, and this is not victim shaming, but this could just be me. I'm just wondering why your 12-year-old was at the friend house, leave the friend house, and is on the way home alone. But that's another story for another day. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm so confused. I mean, like, I'm so confused on this story. Like,
You shouldn't
did
be.
y'all grab? Did they
Hold on,
grab
hold on,
her? And
hold on. Is this there shouldn't be any confusion. A girl was violated.
no. I'm not confused on that part. I'm confused on the part how they got her.
Hold on. If you listened, she was walking away from a friend. She was leaving a friend's house. So they all live in the same neighborhood. So they knew this girl. She was leaving a friend's house. There was a community garden that they said construction workers broke the gate open. I guess the gate is normally locked. They dragged her, they grabbed her and dragged her in there. Two of them held her down. One of them put rocks in her mouth. And the other one, I'm using the word violated, but they are charged with R. This is not confusing.
No,
This
what I'm saying, no. I know that's not confusion of her being taken in. I'm trying to get the picture of it. Like, where did they put her at? How did they grab her? What I mean, she didn't scream, she didn't do anything when they was grabbing her, taking her to this place.
was
They put the rocks in her mouth then, is what I'm
um,
asking. That's what I'm asking. Because I mean, like, somebody's grabbing you. And okay, you say they took you to the spot. And then they put the rocks and stuff in your mouth. I'm like, they had your hand. Did they have their hand around her mouth when they was grabbing her into this place? Is what I'm asking. And no, I'm not making excuses for them. I'm just trying to get the full story. And the thing of it is, for the lady to say that she's not a virgin or whatsoever. I don't give a damn if I ain't a virgin. You still ain't got no reason to take shit from me. I don't care who you are. I don't care what I do. I can walk down the street butt naked. You still have no reason to put your hands on me or assault me. So that's the thing I'm saying. I'm not saying, I'm confused on the R part. I'm confused on how they got her in there. She didn't scream. Did they lure her there? Are they friends? Or whatsoever? What happened? Did the 15-year-old, did he stand by and watch and wait till she got in there? And as we say, it's not a video game, but you can go on your phone and put in different type of pornos, and these kids can watch it. That's the point right there. They have like aggressive porno on
you
these
stop
sites.
saying that word,
I mean,
girl.
well, I'm just saying the P word. I'm sorry, Diva. The P word on these sites, and these kids can look at this stuff and see it. They can look at it and see it, and it's sad that they went this route. This is so sad. Like, you had nothing else to do. You could been out there playing kickball, baseball, football, whatever. You out here trying to assault somebody. I don't know. Like I said, these kids is going in a whole different way than where we came from. I don't get it. This is sad on so many levels. And for this girl to go through this, whether she gave it away or not, they still had no reason to take it from her. And it's sad. And yes, I'm not for kids going to jail, putting them in prison, doing all this. But they need to learn a lesson. They need to learn a big lesson. And I think they're going to get it. But that's all I got.
Thank you. 48, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not giving the parents of the boys no passes. They all too young to have access to a phone that a parent isn't looking at once a week, every 2 weeks, looking at search histories and stuff like that. If I pay the phone bill, my oldest son is 23. If I pay the phone bill, guess what I can do? Go through and see what you're doing. And until you pay that phone bill, then you could do what you want to do. So kids having access and just being able to look up stuff is still a fault of the parent. The boys need to be locked up and then go to adult jail and and pay her, whatever that work release, whatever they got. They need to pay her for the rest of her life until the good Lord take her away. That's so traumatic. And then the father, you know, this I have a 13-year-old son too, Diva, and and a 17-year-old. Well, now my son is 18, and I'm trying to give them more leeway. But then I explain to them things like this that be happening. It's not that I don't trust you, it's I don't trust these people around in this world. That dad was outside waiting for his daughter.
She was 12. He probably was just trying to give her a little space, be like, okay, look, I'm a little bit grown. I can walk down the street. You know, dad's outside waiting. That's what it seemed like. Or he knew what time she should be arriving or coming down the road, and he was coming out to meet her, to be calling her out. You know, I pray that everything go good with the little girl. I hope that she gets everything that she needs. I hope that the community comes and backs her up, and those parents need to be looked into. And if these little boys got anything on their record, then the punishment need to be even more harsh. If you have the good understanding of how to do what grown folks do, then you got a good understanding of grown folks' consequences. I don't want it. This is a good thing they get charged as adults.
Yeah,
That's
thank
all I got.
Wayne, your thoughts?
Just bypass me on this one. I don't have the strength.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, Callie, I'm rolling with you on this. This is not about you seeing, you know, something online, you watching explicit videos. This is horrific. You're holding the girl down. One person is ripping her clothes off. And at 12, this is woo. At 12, you okay with holding a girl down so somebody could violate her? You know, to stuff some rocks in her mouth so that nobody will hear her scream. 30 minutes of violating a girl that's 12 years old. And I'm like, listen, I'm one that say if you belong in the jail, then you got to go to the jail. If you don't belong in the jail, then you don't go in the jail. But I'm sorry, not sorry. Your parents failed you, and these are the consequences. I want them around my nieces, my cousins. No. Let me roll into this last story. Go ahead.
If the honey is any question to what the parents is, that dumb lady is telling me already that ain't none of them got no education.
You could be not educated and still not be this evil. I know people that don't have formal education, they still ain't this evil. This is sadistic and evil. But let me go ahead and roll into this last story. And this last story is the guy working at a restaurant. You know, someone else trademarked it. He got done dirty. The people on the internet was screaming and crying over it. He lucky that it turned up, you know, to be a good story for him, because many it does not. Let me see. Let me go to Instagram first and play his story. And then I'll see if I can bring up the thing. So let's just see.
Reached out, talked to me. We have a meeting. He's the original owner of TENDERNISM under the trademark. And today, he said, well, I'm going to get the trademark to you. And here he is. Boy, look, Attorney Harris. Yes, sir. Man, you don't know the appreciation. Things have been happening. God is good.
God is good. God is good.
It wouldn't have happened.
Yes, sir.
If it wasn't. And now look at it. Hey, family, see how we reach out and touch? Long time coming, but time is here.
Well, I just want to thank you all for all that you've done for the community. You are a magnificent inspiration to us. And it is time for our community to work together to do big things economically. And it is an absolute honor to begin the process of transferring those trademarks over to you, because you deserve it, you created it, and you've created something very, very special for our community. So, and look, we ready to roll. Let's go, man.
Hey, man, look at here. This TENDERNISM, boy. I'm finna really, y'all. We finna have some fun. I'm finna tenderize the United States. And I say one thing to that. Booyah. My thing. Right.
So they got the trademark. He's very fortunate. Let me just bring up a little bit of the backstory for you. Let me share screen 1 second. I think this is it. Let's see. So going viral doesn't mean you own it. Inside the tendernism trademark war, the phrase has become the center of a multi-party trademark dispute involving Walter Johnson, aka Unc, Diamond Smokehouse Enterprises Inc., and attorney Kenneth Harris. You just saw them in the video together. So luckily for Walter Johnson, the one they call Unc, the one who kind of helped make this go viral because he was the chef. Luckily it's turning out good for him. So few viral trends have captured public imagination the way tendernism has. The term exploded across TikTok and Instagram as viewers watched an older gentleman known affectionately as Unc or Mr. Tendernism dramatically test smoked meats to see whether they would truly fall off the bone tender. But now the phrase at the heart of this viral phenomenon has become the center of a multi-party trademark dispute involving Walter Johnson, aka Unc, Diamond Smokehouse Enterprises Inc., and attorney Kenneth Harris. This is a story about virality, intellectual property, and a cautionary tale for creators and businesses who wait too long to protect what they build. So who is Unc? According to multiple reports, the man behind the phrase is Walter Johnson, a former staff member at Destination Smokehouse, a California-based barbecue restaurant whose videos recently went viral. Johnson is widely credited with coining the term tendernism, describing meat that is so tender you don't need no teeth. Johnson, frequently referred to as Unc, became a viral sensation for his charismatic demonstrations of tenderness tests, which garnered millions of views. His popularity grew even further after attention from large creators such as Jordan the Stallion and food critic Keith Lee, who traveled to the restaurant specifically to meet the man behind the movement. Diamond Smokehouse Enterprises, located in California, is associated with the Destination Smokehouse brand, where Johnson worked and where the tendernism phenomenon took root. The company is now asserting that it, not any outside party, is the rightful owner of the tendernism mark because it has been using the phrase commercially in connection with the restaurant operations and branded merchandise. The trademark filed 2 sides, 4 applications. However, when it came to filing a trademark application with the United States Trademark Office, a North Carolina-based attorney, Kenneth Harris, beat Diamond Smokehouse and Johnson to the punch. On November 21st, 2025, attorney Kenneth Harris filed 2 trademark applications for tendernism, both on an intent to use ITU basis. And those are the applications. Notably, Mr. Harris has not submitted any proof of use of the tendernism trademark, meaning he does not yet have any legal use in commerce associated with the mark. Some public reports suggest that Harris may have reached out to Unc to offer the trademark filings to him or leverage them for business purposes. While this claim remains unverified, at the time of this writing, it remained unverified, but now it is verified that those two have connected and they're going to work together to get this brand to the man who coined it versus the smokehouse who helped it grow. Diamond Smokehouse Enterprises Inc. filed 2 trademark applications on December 5th, 2020. December 5th, 2020, I think they meant to put 5, and January 8th, 2026. Both based on actual use in commerce, claiming first using it dating back to April the 17th, 2024. The trademark filings assert that the company and by extension Unc began commercially using the tendernism mark well before Harris ITU filings. To understand who holds the trademark rights, and it's going to go into a lot of just different stuff on how things work when it comes to a trademark, but I'm gonna skip over that and talk about the public outcry and accusations of stealing a viral phrase. While Harris and Diamond Smokehouse jockey for trademark registration with the USPTO, both have faced criticism online for people who believe Unc should own the mark. or who assume that any filing is an attempt to steal a viral term. And while Walter Uncle Jackson undeniably coined and popularized the term, it is important to remember a foundational rule of trademark law. Creating or coining a word does not make someone the trademark owner. Trademark rights arise only through use in commerce to identify the source of goods and services. This is often counterintuitive to the public. In the trademark law, the legal owner is a party who uses the mark commercially in connection with goods or services, not the individual who first said it, created it, or made it go viral. Even viral personalities, especially employees, do not automatically own rights in the phases they make famous. In this case, even though Unc coined the word, the relevant legal question is who used tendernism in commerce first, and the evidence currently indicates that Diamond Smokehouse began doing so before any filings by Harris, that's a lawyer. This distinction is critical not only here, but for creators and businesses everywhere. So in conclusion, while the internet may believe that Unc should automatically own the trademark because he coined the term, unfortunately, trademark law simply does not work that way. I'm not going to go into it any further. The point is, he is very lucky that a lawyer, filed that trademark and then is willing to transfer all of this over to the actual person that helped it go viral. The cautionary tale is here: protect your intellectual property before it gets to a point where others are interested. I'll tell you a short, quick story. Back in the day, before all of this internet and all of that, there was people would do their websites and they would have the .com after it, right? So someone bought the McDonald's.com before McDonald's themselves bought it, and then McDonald's had to buy it from that person. So just a little, and you can Google that story, true story about the .com. Julius, your thoughts, 60 seconds, please.
He, some kind of way, he was in a fluke and he got lucky. That fluke was in his favor. Because these corporations, they don't like to hand nothing over. So I'm going to say it like this. That was nothing but God right there.
Thank you. In my opinion, your thoughts?
Whenever you feel like something is break. Oh shoot, I can't talk. Whenever you feel like something that you're creating is gonna take off and be big, do your due diligence and go ahead and trademark it. Then you don't have to worry about nobody stealing what's yours, even if it's not big now. Go ahead and trademark it. You never know when it's gonna be big later, and that's gonna always be yours, and nobody can take it from you. And go ahead and list it up under every category because you don't know which one you're going to use it in. So when you're trademarking, it's different categories. Go ahead and get it in every category so can't nobody else take it from you. And that was what Eminem should have did when he trademarked Slim Shady. He should have went on and put it in every category, and he wouldn't have had to worry about Reasonable Shady taking his stuff.
I think they've got court fights still going on, but I get you. Savannah, your thoughts?
Documentation. That's what came to mind when you were reading the story. It just highlighted how important it is to maintain records, but detailed records of your creation and how you came about, whether it's a logo or your name. I mean, it is, how you protect your copyrights and your creative works, and it is always going to come back to documentation. So I'm glad that this story had a happy ending, but most stories do not, and it always comes down to documentation and failing to protect your rights.
Thank you. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm glad it happened good for him too. I mean, they already fired him, so you trying to take the little name that he has as well. So yeah, he deserved that. That man be cooking up a storm on them in the for they barbecue for somebody else that he's not even making the money off of. So yeah, I'm happy it worked out in that way. And if you got something that you want to put out there, always get it trademarked or put something down so nobody can take it from you. So I'm happy for him. That's all I got.
Thank you, 48.
Yeah, I think that he was doing something that he loved to do. I don't think he was even thinking that it was gonna go viral like that. But like the Bible say, your gifts will make room for you. So, at the end of the day, he was taken out of a place that wasn't gonna work out for him anyway. And God looked out for him at his golden age. He can just tenderize ribs for the
Come
as
on.
long as he won't, you know what I'm saying? Sell t-shirts doing it. So yeah,
Yeah.
good for him.
Yeah, good for him. Yes, come on in the tender age, because that's me. Wayne, your thoughts?
Yeah, he's real lucky. And also during that .com era, people made a lot of money on that because they were buying up people's names, like for example, Oprah Winfrey or Pepsi, Coke or whatever, and they had that .com.
Mm-hmm.
Also with this guy, just not having the knowledge to do that. For example, I used to go to a barber here and he had this name. I won't say it because that's just, free advertisement. But he was telling me one day that somebody else had the name. Well, I said, well, did you trademark it? He said, well, no. Well, now that barbershop that got the name has about 7 or 8 locations all over.
Mm.
He couldn't do nothing about it. That's it.
Yeah. Protect what you building. Protect what you building. But listen, people, I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me on this Tuesday night for Trending Topics. Y'all know the routine. If you ain't hit that like button on the way in, do the diva a favor. Hit the like button on the way out. I appreciate y'all. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.
Choo choo.